Welcome to Module 2, Legislative Requirements. In this module, we explore the legal framework that underpins workplace health and safety management. Understanding your legal obligations is essential. It's not just about avoiding penalties. It's about understanding the standards society expects of employers when it comes to protecting workers. By the end of this module, you will have a clear picture of the key laws, your duty of care, risk assessment obligations, compliance standards, and record-keeping requirements. Here are your learning objectives for Module 2. By the end, you should be able to identify the key legislation, explain duty of care, describe risk assessment requirements, outline compliance standards and codes of practice, and understand both record-keeping obligations and what happens when organizations fail to comply. These are foundational to building a legally sound safety management system. Let's start with an overview of the legislative landscape. Health and safety law operates at several levels. At the top, you have primary acts of Parliament. These set overarching duties for employers, workers, and others. Below that, regulations deal with specific hazards or industries. Approved codes of practice provide practical guidance on meeting those requirements. They are not law themselves, but if you follow them, you're generally considered compliant. They are also common law duties, obligations that have developed through court decisions over many years. A critical concept is reasonably practicable. The law doesn't require you to eliminate every risk, but to manage risk so far as is reasonably practicable, balancing the level of risk against the cost and effort of reducing it. Duty of care is a fundamental legal concept. It means different things for different people. Employers have the primary duty. They must provide and maintain a safe work environment, safe systems of work, adequate information, training, instruction, and supervision. Workers also have duties. They must take reasonable care for their own safety and the safety of others, and cooperate with the employer's safety measures. Officers of the business, directors, managers, have a personal duty to exercise due diligence to ensure the organization meets its obligations. And the duty extends beyond employees, visitors, contractors, and the general public must not be put at risk by the business's operations. The key message is that safety is everyone's responsibility, but the primary duty sits with the employer. Risk assessment is a legal requirement, not just good practice. The law requires a structured, 5-step process. Step 1. Identify hazards. Walk the workplace. Consult workers. Review incident data. Step 2. Assess the risks. Consider who could be harmed and how serious the consequences could be. Step 3. Implement control measures, following the hierarchy of controls. Elimination is the most effective. Personal protective equipment is the last resort. Step 4. Record your findings. Documentation is a legal requirement and provides evidence of due diligence. Step 5. Review regularly. Risk assessments are living documents that must be updated when conditions change, after incidents, or on a scheduled basis. In small businesses, risk assessments don't need to be complicated, but they must be thorough and documented. Beyond the primary legislation, there are compliance standards and codes of practice that provide more specific, practical guidance. Approved codes of practice explain how to meet the requirements of the law in practical terms. Regulations cover specific hazards, manual handling, hazardous substances, noise, confined spaces, and so on. Standards set technical benchmarks. Your obligation is to know which codes apply to your operations, follow them or use an equivalent method, stay current as they are updated, and seek expert advice when needed. Following an approved code of practice is generally accepted as evidence of compliance. If you choose a different approach, you need to demonstrate it provides at least the same level of protection. Record keeping isn't just good practice. It's a legal requirement. There are 6 key categories of documentation you need to maintain. Risk assessments document what hazards exist and how you're controlling them. Incident records capture injuries, near misses, and dangerous occurrences. Many jurisdictions require formal notification for serious incidents. Training records prove your workers have been properly trained. Safety procedures provide written guidance for safe work. Inspection and audit records show you're actively monitoring conditions. And consultation records demonstrate you're involving workers in safety decisions as the law requires. Good records are your best defense if something goes wrong. They demonstrate due diligence and show a systematic approach to managing safety. This part covers what happens when organizations don't meet their legislative requirements. On the enforcement side, regulators have a range of tools, from improvement notices that require you to fix issues within a set time frame, through prohibition notices that can shut down dangerous activities immediately, to fines, prosecution, and in the most serious cases, imprisonment. But the consequences go beyond legal penalties. Non-compliance leads to higher insurance costs, reputational damage, lost business opportunities, poor morale, and personal liability for directors. The message here is clear. Compliance isn't optional, and the cost of non-compliance far exceeds the investment in getting it right. Let's recap Module 2. Health and safety legislation operates through acts, regulations, codes of practice, and common law. Duty of care applies to everyone: employers, workers, officers, and extends to visitors and contractors. Risk assessment is a 5-step legal requirement. Compliance standards guide your approach. Record keeping is essential for legal protection. And non-compliance carries serious consequences, including personal liability. When you're ready, move on to Module 3, where we'll explore the key components that make up an effective safety management system in detail. Well done on completing Module 2.